So the Super Bowl was last night, and along with the Super Bowl, there's always some fun trailers that come along with it. I think there was a little kind of snippet TV spot for Lilo and Stitch, which I'm excited to see. I think there may have been some sort of trailer that dropped for Jurassic World, and most importantly for me at least, was a new Thunderbolts trailer. We knew we were going to get something from Marvel we normally do, so getting a Thunderbolts trailer makes sense because we just got a Fantastic Four trailer, and Captain America Brave New World literally comes out this week, so there's no reason for a new trailer. Everything's kind of already out. So Thunderbolts getting a new trailer made the most sense. I watched it last night. I woke up this morning and said, let me break down a little bit. I'm not new Rockstar, so I'm not going frame by frame. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 things noted down here on my screen that I just noticed in the trailer and noticed people talking about online. So yeah, not going full in-depth, breaking it down frame by frame, not reacting to it, just a few things I noticed and a few things I wanted to talk about with y'all. So let's get into it. One of the things I noticed, John Walker, Mr. Fake Captain America himself, has a bent shield. I don't think it was throughout the whole movie. It was just a shot where they kind of left the tower. So I'm assuming Sentry is the one that does it to him. It was just nothing crazy, but it is pretty cool to see that the shield was almost completely folded over his arm. It looks like we finally get Avengers Tower back. The last time we saw it was in Spider-Man Homecoming back in 2016, 2017. I think it was 2016, after Civil War. That was the last time we've seen it. So it's been a while. We've always been wondering who owns Avengers Tower. Is it Doctor Doom? Was it going to be Kang or a variant of Kang? Was it going to be the Fantastic Four and become the Baxter Building? It seems like it's owned by Val now. I've had that theory for a little bit where I didn't really think it would be owned by, Kingpin or something like that. I kind of figured Val, after we kind of saw her and saw all the strings that she's pulling and all the connections she has, I just kind of had an inkling that maybe she would be the person that owned Avengers Tower. So that seems to be true. First time we've seen it since Spider-Man Homecoming. It's been a long time. We've all kind of wanted it back. I guess other than it may have showed up in Hawkeye in the background or something like that, but last time it was really shown was in Spider-Man Homecoming. So yeah, we've all wanted it back. We've all been wondering for years at this point who owns Avengers Tower, and it looks like we finally found out it's Val. And it would look like Bob, who in the first trailer was just shown to be this goofy, weird guy who doesn't know where he is in an underground bunker, is indeed the character Sentry. I don't know too much about Sentry, but from what I've gathered, he's kind of like Marvel's version of Superman. I know Icarus is also kind of similar to that, but yeah, he seems like he's kind of Marvel's answer to Superman, but with kind of a dark twist on him. I know like he has the void that he goes in and out of and whatnot. So I saw that in the comics. I believe the Avengers Tower at some point becomes Sentry's watchtower. So I fully expect that to be a thing by the end of the movie. I don't think it's just going to be a thing at the beginning of the movie. I think it's going to be as you go through the movie, you see that Val owns the tower. And I think maybe because there are shots of the Thunderbolts having kind of a meeting with her, I think in the first trailer in the tower, I think she kind of invites them to take over the tower as a new team and say, listen, if you do my bidding, if you do whatever I tell you to do, you guys will have a roof over your head and a headquarters here in the old Avengers Tower to live, to plan. You won't have to worry about anything, no food, no bills, it'll all be covered, but you're going to have to go kill some people without question. And I think they're going to turn it down. I think they're going to, even though they're all kind of like Suicide Squad-esque, like they're all kind of not great people who have done not great things over their time, I think they're all going to kind of have a heart-to-heart and go, we can't do this, we need to, be better than that. And I think with that, as they deny it, that's where the fight comes with Sentry. And I think by the end of the movie, Sentry will be the one that kind of takes her offer and is living in the tower, and it becomes Sentry's watchtower. Where that goes from there, where he goes from there, I don't know. But I feel like that's just the idea, is that he'll be sitting in the watchtower, doing her bidding in the background until they need him for an Avengers movie or for something like that, to be another villain or something like that. He'll just be kind of in the background. We'll know where he is, sitting in the watchtower, going and killing random people, kind of just terrorizing the world as Val needs him to do. And then we'll see him show back up at some point. So yeah, I think by the end of the movie, the Avengers Tower will become Sentry's watchtower. Along with that, you can see in certain shots that he is Sentry and he is fighting the Thunderbolts here. He's fighting the team. He throws Red Guardian through a window. Like I said, John has a bent shield. I would imagine that Sentry is the only one that's going to be doing that in the movie. So you can see the team is fighting against Sentry, and you can see that the Void is taking over New York. New York is kind of dark and gritty and kind of scary and ominous. As you can see, some darkness is spreading and whatnot. So obviously Sentry is using the Void to kind of mess up New York a little bit. And I believe that he's going to be showing the team their kind of worst nightmares, kind of similar to how Scarlet Witch showed the Avengers their like worst fears in Age of Ultron. I think it's going to be a similar thing where Sentry is kind of doing that, because there's a shot where I don't know if there were other shots, but I did notice a shot where Yelena looked kind of terrified, and she was in nothing but darkness. There was no background behind her. It was just kind of pitch black, and she looked terrified. So I think that Sentry is going to be using his powers with the Void to kind of, yeah, show them their worst fears. I'm not really sure what their worst fears are. Maybe for Bucky, it's being the Winter Soldier again. I would imagine that's probably his worst fear, is that he's Winter Soldier again and that he can't stop it and he's going on a killing spree. For Yelena, I would imagine her worst fear is being back in the Red Room, kind of similar to how Natasha was. Other than that, I don't know for the rest of the characters what exactly their worst fears would be, but I do think, yeah, part of the movie will be him taking over New York like we saw and showing the Thunderbolts kind of their worst fears to kind of, handicap them a little bit and kind of take them out of the fight for a little bit. From what I saw in the trailer, and I even think in the first trailer, it looks like Taskmaster is barely in the movie. I know there is a shot of Taskmaster in the Avengers Tower with the rest of the crew, but I think that was a kind of photoshopped. I think it was in the first trailer. I think it was kind of photoshopped, like Marvel likes to do. They kind of alter trailers. I think they may have photoshopped Taskmaster into it to kind of throw everyone off. But I think Taskmaster is definitely dead. I don't think that character is kind of making it out. I feel like from all we've seen, other than that one shot that I think is kind of edited, other than that, the only scenes we've seen of that character is in that underground bunker with Yelena and Bob. So I believe that Sentry, once they get to him and he's disoriented, I think he might have a kind of a freak out and whatnot. I don't think he's going full evil. I think he might just freak out because he doesn't know who these people are and whatnot, and kind of loses control. And I think he is going to kill Taskmaster. I think that's going to be off the rip. I don't think that the character is in the movie for that long. Or another theory that I did see online is that maybe he kills Taskmaster, quote unquote. It looks like Taskmaster's dead and they're gone for the rest of the movie. But then at the end, they show back up to kind of help Val or whatever. That could also be kind of an option. Maybe they had a secret kind of mission, so they had to play dead to do whatever else they were doing behind the Thunderbolts back. That is also a possibility. But I think it's more sensible and more direct that Taskmaster's just going to get killed. I think, like I said, Bob's going to freak out, not know where he is, not know who these people are. They're telling him that he needs to go with them. He's going to have like a little panic attack, and I think in his panic attack with the Void, he's going to somehow kill Taskmaster to really show, because obviously that's in the beginning of the movie, to really show that, oh, okay, whoever this guy is, he has some crazy powers because he just killed this person unwanting to. Like, he didn't want to, it just happened because he freaked out. So yeah, I don't think Taskmaster's in the movie for very long. But also along with that, when we speak on characters that are probably not making it out of this movie, I think the other two that are possibly on the chopping block are Ghost or the Red Guardian. I think the only two that are kind of safe here on the actual team is probably Yelena and Bucky. Yelena is kind of, I feel like we all kind of can tell that Yelena is probably the future of the MCU, that they really love the character and they really love Florence Pugh. And so I don't think, they have plans on killing her off anytime soon. I think she's going to be in a lot more. She's probably going to show up in Doomsday and Secret Wars in some capacity to help out or something like that. So yeah, I don't see Yelena dying at all. She's a character that the fans love and an actress that obviously Marvel loves and the fans also love. Same with Bucky, where Bucky's been there for very long. So in reality, you could say that he might be on the chopping block because he's been in the MCU since almost the beginning. But I don't think Bucky is dying in the Thunderbolts. I think his death is going to be more impactful in probably an Avengers movie or with more characters he's connected to. If he were to die in another movie, maybe not an Avengers movie, it's something that probably has Sam in it, or if they found a way to, to bring Steve back, which I don't necessarily want, but I feel like it would make sense if somehow they bring Steve back and that's, somewhere along the lines Bucky dies and he's with Steve. I feel like Bucky's death has to be more meaningful and has to be more around the characters he's kind of just been with. Even, I'd say a death, it's going to be more emotional if he died next to Stephen Strange than Red Guardian, because he at least knows Stephen Strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like his death is going to be bigger in an Avengers movie or with characters that he has more of a connection to rather than here in Thunderbolts. And again, he's just a fan favorite actor and character that's been there since the beginning. I think he's got a little bit more time before he kind of goes. But when it goes to Ghost and Red Guardian, when it comes to David Arbor, I know a lot of people love him, and Red Guardian is fun, but I wouldn't say that Red Guardian is necessarily like this huge fan favorite character. He's fun, people do love him, but I don't think he's like this big of a character that they kind of have to give him plot armor to survive. I feel like he could be on the chopping block, but Ghost really is probably the other one, other than Taskmaster, that I feel like probably won't make it out of this movie, or has a chance of not making it out of this movie just because she was in, Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was kind of it. It's cool to see her. I'm not discrediting seeing her. I did like the character in Ant-Man and Wasp, so I'm cool to see her back. I just don't know if she has too much of like a future in the MCU. I don't know where she would go. I don't even know too much about the character other than what I saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I don't know too much about her or what, possible stories she may have had in a comic book or something like that, or other characters she may be connected to for her to proceed in the MCU. So I feel like just the idea that she's not been built up, she's not a fan favorite character, she's not a fan favorite kind of actress from what I know. I feel like she's probably the one that's closest, other than Taskmaster, to being kind of on the chopping block. But I could also, again, see Red Guardian maybe also not making it out, because I feel like with Red Guardian, I feel like my pick with Red Guardian there is that they need, I feel like, something really emotional. I feel like there's not too much emotional attachment to Taskmaster or to Ghost. So if they die, I feel like there's not going to be too many people that are really impacted by it. You're going to know, it's going to serve its purpose to go, oh, Sentry is, intense and he's powerful. But there's not too much emotional connection. I feel like Red Guardian dying, again, he's not a huge character, but people do love him, and I think it'll have more of an emotional connection and emotional impact on the audience if Red Guardian were to die, as well as you then get the reaction from Yelena, who's basically her dad just died in front of her or whatever. So that'll make it even more emotional, because now you have Yelena's fans and the people that love Yelena that are upset because obviously she's upset. So I feel like Red Guardian has a chance of kind of kicking the bucket there, because of the fact that I feel like they need some sort of really emotional kind of damage to come out of this movie. They need something impactful, and they need something to maybe give Yelena even more of an edge. She's already kind of edgy. She's already kind of a badass, but she still has some kindness in her. She still has a little bit of fun in her. I feel like Red Guardian kind of dying would kind of set her in motion to really kind of embrace maybe the dark side or something like that. I feel like, yeah. So Red Guardian dying, I definitely could see happening for the emotional weight, whereas Ghost, or more likely Taskmaster dying, is more for the impact of showing how powerful Sentry is. Last thing I want to note here that I noticed that I saw people talking about online, and we've been talking about this online before even the first trailer came out, is that there is the asterisk next to the name Thunderbolts. Kevin Feige was asked about it and asked, would we find out? Is there a reason it's there, and will we find out? And he said, yes, you'll find out soon, but I'm not going to say. I'm going to let the movie kind of speak for itself. So clearly there is something there. It wasn't just some real style thing or something like that. So everyone's been kind of assuming that chances are the name is going to change or something, or there's just more to the title. It's called the Thunderbolts, but called the Thunderbolts versus Sentry or something like that, or more so to that, yeah, maybe the name is just going to change from Thunderbolts to something else. I've seen people say to Dark Avengers, to Mighty Avengers. I could see it. I don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable on all this stuff to kind of dive in, but I obviously there is something there, so I'm excited to see what it is, if it is going to be just changing the name of the movie to Thunderbolts versus Sentry, or if it's going to be changing the name of the movie and the team in the movie, which would make more sense to see, yeah, like it changes from the Thunderbolts to the Dark Avengers or something like that. So that's my video. Not too long, not too crazy. Like I said, I didn't want to go too in-depth because I am kind of new to the Thunderbolts and whatnot, so I don't know too many stories from the comics that the Thunderbolts were involved in and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about it. Those are some points that I noticed, some things I noticed in the trailer, some things I noticed people talking about online. Nonetheless, I'm excited. I love Bucky. He's in my top 10, and Yelena is in kind of like my more recent top probably 10. So yeah, I'm super excited to see them. I like Red Guardian. He's fun. Ghost and Taskmaster is a cool addition, and I'm really excited to see Sentry from, again, I don't know too much about him, but I like Louis Pullman, who's playing him. I think he was great in Top Gun Maverick as, ironically, Bob, which he says he's Bob in here, which is cool. Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. From what I've seen of Sentry, he looks like, basically, like I said, kind of an evil Superman, so I'm really excited to see that. I think that's going to be really, really cool. So yeah, that's the video. I hope y'all liked it. Leave a comment if you want more. Leave a comment if I missed anything, if there's anything big that you noticed in the trailer or that you've noticed on Reddit or X or something like that that people are talking about that I missed. And with that, like, comment, subscribe, stay up to date with me, stay up to date with the OTS Project, weekly podcast that me and my cousin do every week. We talk about wrestling, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, all things like that. Depends on the week. And yeah, thank y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video.